warning to you all.
Fair warning. I'm gonna throw up quest portal. Not that it's gonna get used, but
I'll open up Quest Portal when I'm like at home and stuff and not in the middle of my TCH.
So what did I miss? So I think I've missed like the last few sessions.
you're in Elvish territory,
That's neat.
and I'm gonna
Wait,
apologize to.
which session is it?
I mean, which session
This
number?
is Mystic Twilight. I think he's
Like-
asking which campaign.
Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mystic Twilight. What is this? Season 2?
Oh, okay.
Season 2, session, or chapter 3, I think. So, welcome.
I'm so excited to be back in Ayla's home with her family. Hooray!
Yeah, we get to do that today, people.
Oh, that!
Yeah. I'm gonna apologize in
My artistic memory
advance
is
for
kicking
the.
in.
Shh. Merry Christmas. I'm gonna apologize in advance to, pretty much everyone because I killed my voice last night, and it has yet to fully come back. So y'all get to put up with my bullfrick for the time being. Can someone also call Avo, see if he's actually going to be here?
I will go spam him.
That would be appreciated.
I'm gonna go spam his phone number. Unless you want to spam his Discord.
My microphone might be doing good.
Sure.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is on no prep time. So,
We love it.
should I have been
It's our
prepping
content.
while I was waiting for that hour? Yes, but I was playing a game of Smite, which is a MOBA. So, oh lord. Yep. Yeah, welcome to our train wreck of a campaign. How's everyone doing?
Whee!
How we doing, guys?
I've officially sent Ava like 9 messages. If he doesn't respond, it's no longer my fault. I'm doing great. I'm so excited.
Alright, cool.
TBH, I'm live off living.
Alright, cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last time on Mystic Twilight, things happened. The party set foot back into Elvish territory, which is known to be hostile ever since the end of the Old War. And none to anyone's surprise, they are stopped at the border pass. Specifically, about, well, crap, coughing. For lack of a better term, they're stopped at the border and asked what they exactly were doing. Were brought into the Elvish territory after gaining diplomatic immunity through Aberman Barrage. So, that was fun. They enter Elvish territory at kind of no behest of anyone else, and soon find that there's someone watching them through divination. And, lo and behold, this is Aelit's mother, as it turns out later.
Whoopsies.
Yep, the parents are a slight bit overprotective. Which really doesn't align with everything else that's happened, because, as we all know, there's a certain queen who really likes to frick with everything. So,
There's a certain queen who kind of wants to kill it, but it's fine.
yep. And ladies and gentlemen,
We'll live off loving it.
it's about to get freaky. Basically, last session was a lot of, hey, meet the family. Hey, realize the family are a bunch of psychos.
Psychos.
Yeah,
They're just
Sure, they're the psychos. I wanted to beat one of our characters. I wanted to beat Barrage up for no reason.
That's fair. We also introduced Maji's character, who goes
Yeah.
by the name of...
something.
Kieran?
Kiryu?
Kiryu. Thank you. Sorry.
Airyu.
Kiryu.
It's alright.
Thank you. I'm sorry, it takes me forever to get character names down. It's a problem, but...
I won't yell at you just because your voice is gone.
Yeah, also, yeah, please don't make me talk over people. It's gonna be bad tonight, so... Yeah, so... We begin around the family dinner table as the party has been called to dinner at the moment.
My mother is force feeding the party.
Yep, pretty much.
Party. Oh my goodness.
So, much to your concern, you can't find Abram or Barrage anywhere. They seem to have... somewhere in the midst of the chaos of Arturus and Kiryu sparring, they seem to have vanished. Where they wandered off to... What?
Who was I fighting? Was it Arturus or was it?
It was Arturus,
Barrage.
Ava's character. No, Barrage
Okay.
was not in combat. Barrage was elsewhere. So yeah, you guys would find yourselves around a table. And so far, the dinner is going very awkwardly. There's an awkward silence, and no one seems to be speaking. Party, I leave this in your capable hands.
It's mainly up to me and Zeph because we're the only ones that have our mics on.
Yep.
What are we saying that Cerulean was doing? 'Cause again, I wasn't here.
That is up to you. I assumed you were trailing with the party, but,
Okay, that's what I figured.
you know, you're not like Kyrock, who just kind of appears and disappears on a half-random note all the time.
Cerulean would probably be the first to speak up and just be like, "So, this is nice." Trying to not be disrespectful.
Like, a few of the, like, the family kind of looks around at each other with kind of an awkward sense to it, I suppose. And eventually, I suppose it kind of, for lack of a better term, settles again. No one's really choosing to speak, until frick. What was I gonna say? Sorry, I am, like, running on low brain fumes right now. Eventually,
It's alright.
Aylet's mother kind of speaks up and looks to you, sort of like, I'm glad you enjoy it. Though, I don't believe we ever introduced ourselves.
Fine, you're right. My name is Cerulean. I've been traveling with your daughter for some time now.
Ah, that makes sense well enough. And then she kind of takes another look. It's like, forgive me, but I don't think I've ever seen your kind around here before.
Oh, don't worry, that makes sense.
Me or Zeph?
Zeph's character.
You see,
I'm like
actually
so tired.
It's good.
Georgia. I come from actually. Did we ever name this continent? I forget.
I don't think it has a name, but
Neat.
just
Okay.
It exists. That's all we need to know.
I come from across the seas.
there's a nod. Like she, Aelith's mother pauses for a moment before nodding slowly. A land across the sea. Interesting. Is there... It kind of trails into an awkward silence again.
So, just why don't you? I mean, I'm pretty new to the Elven towns and kingdom. What can introduce me to your culture?
There's kind of a wince that goes around the table before Aelith's mother speaks again. Like, it's what you've seen, honestly. There's not much to it. And quite honestly, it's not really our people, not us particularly, but our people don't really like outsiders. They think themselves above the other. I don't want to say peoples, but there's a reason. Well, our culture revolves a lot around the worship of a specific deity. And other than that, she just kind of shrugs.
It's a territory of assholes with a monarch who is cruel, who firmly believe they are above all others. It's not a culture you want to be a part of.
Really, just really kind of smile awkwardly. And she's trying to be kind, but she knows nothing about these people, and she doesn't want to say the wrong thing.
You can all kind of sense the tension before Aelith's mother asks, if you would enlighten me, what is your culture like?
Where I'm from, we don't really have big kingdoms like you do here. We live more in tribes. I come from the Cloud Clan. We are warriors of the wind.
Interesting. And how many clans are there? Oh lord, my voice.
There are 4 main clans. You have, again, us, the Cloud Clan, the River Clan, the Mountain Clan, and lastly the Volcano Clan. However, each clan does tend to have its smaller sects, and those tend to be more scattered.
Interesting. Yeah, and eventually the conversation kind of trails off again into kind of this awkward stew. No one really wants to address the elephant in the room. And yeah.
Jay, is Ayla's dad there yet or no?
He's at the head of the table eating quietly.
Oh.
He hasn't said a word since he entered.
Ayla, who's kind of annoyed at this point because she's tired of the small talk, she wants to get through this so they can move on because she doesn't want to be here longer than necessary, is going to look at her dad and, just kind of ask him in a very blunt way. So, are we going to address the elephant in the room, or are we going to pretend like this is a wonderful dinner?
He pauses for a minute. Or for a moment, like... I was hoping to put off discussing this till we've all eaten. But... it doesn't seem like you're going to let me have that.
No, never.
So what about it do you want to discuss?
Well, realistically, I would like to get a move on sooner rather than later. The longer I'm in here, the more dangerous it becomes for everyone who's traveling with me, and I'd rather avoid that. So how long am I required to stay home?
Your mother said... you have to stay at least through tomorrow, and then you are able to leave.
So one night.
Tonight and tomorrow night.
So 2 nights.
Yes.
She's not very happy with this answer, but she can't argue. Right, okay, so we're stuck here for 2 nights then.
Yes.
Why? Why 2 nights? Why do we have to stay here that long?
Well, you know your mother. First of all, she's not going to let you out of the house without thoroughly checking over all of you and making sure you've
Do that
rested
after
some.
dinner. She could have done that after dinner, and that would have been 1 night's rest, and then we would have been perfectly set to move on.
You know how she is.
You don't have to agree with her.
Ayla's mother just raises her eyebrow from over the table. Yes, well. Is that all you wanted to talk about?
I have a couple other things, but those are private family matters. I don't think we want to spill over the dinner table.
Well. It is...
Oh my god!
Hello.
He's here. Arturus has made it.
Arturus lives. Cool. You guys are all sitting at family dinner, and it's getting really freaking awkward up in here.
It's getting real tense!
Nice.
Ayla's father kind of pauses for a minute.
Good thing I have social anxiety, so I can't do anything.
So... yeah, Ayla's father pauses for a minute. It's like... and I suppose you don't intend to address the matter of the two you're traveling with?
I don't think it really matters who I'm traveling with, now does it?
Your father raises his eyebrow again.
I mean, I haven't died. I'm most certainly alive. And if you really wanted to know who I was traveling with, you would have asked in all the letters you've sent.
I know who you're traveling with. I'm just asking if you know exactly who they are.
Why is that any of your concern?
Because I know them. Both of them.
Last I checked, by royal decree, I was no longer your concern.
And last I checked, I was still your father. Royal decree or not.
According to the monarch's eyes, I have no relation to anyone here. She did you a favor trying to save our family name a little bit of grace.
You really think I see it as a favor?
I know you don't. I'm just simply stating the fact. By royal decree, and if you ask anyone in this town, I have no relation to anyone here.
He pauses for a minute. You really don't want to be part of this family anymore, do you?
I would love to be able to say I had a family to come home to, but because of royal decree and what happened that day, I don't see it that way anymore.
Stop with the royal decree. Think for yourself for once. Not what others put on you.
I was raised to think for myself. That is entirely how we are raised in this household. You know I'm right, and you won't argue it, but you know I'm right.
He kind of pauses for a minute. You may leave as soon as you wish. And he stands up, kind of taking this ornate staff in his hand. And he looks almost as if he's aged significantly since you last saw him. There isn't... It's almost as if some of the fire has left him. And your mother kind of stands up and kind of reaches out a hand towards him, and he holds up a hand in return. And he moves his way not towards the stairs, surprisingly enough, but he walks instead outside. And you would assume out into the forest. And for the record, your siblings all look shocked. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm rereading a bunch of stuff. I need to make better notes and plans and things. I know I'm bad about this. Yeah. Cyrus looks hurt, I guess. Silris. Leuven has this look of, pardon me, did I really just hear what I just heard? And Hyric looks kind of just like everything went over his head.
Ayla's gonna look at her brothers and kind of exclude Hyric in this conversation because a lot of it probably did go over his head. And she's gonna say, "You know I'm not wrong when I say that."
Cyrus doesn't seem to have
Silrus.
Silrus. Silrus. My bad. My bad. He like opens and closes his mouth a few times before like kind of falling silent, and then you look over to Leuven, and it's almost as if this dark storm has consumed his facial expression. Now, it's rare to see Leuven angry, but he looks, for lack of a better term, you've kicked the dragon's nest.
Good, that's what I wanted to do.
And he's gonna stand up for a minute, like, you realize what? He puts a hand to his head. You've caused our father so much grief in these past years. You hardly write. You give him all these things to worry about. He fought tooth and claw against what the queen did, and yet he couldn't do anything. You know how that made him feel? Of course you don't. Because you decided to run away, and yet you have the audacity to show up here and cause a scene.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Run away. Wasn't I banished from the territory? Wasn't I told to leave in the first place? That's not running away. That's following an order, which that man has raised us to do, to a T, to the letter. I do not question, right? That's how we were raised. Don't question what he says. Just do it. You get it done. You move on. That's how you live. That's how you survive. Heaven forbid I come back to fix a mistake so the young prince doesn't die. I'm so sorry that I would still like to do some good as a healer and fix my mistake. I'm so sorry.
And heaven forbid you have some mercy on our father.
Mercy on our father. I'm sorry. Mercy on our father. That is a very funny phrase to use. I have been traveling for over a century, and the last letter that man wrote to me that was not in our mother's handwriting was the first one he wrote. All of our letters have been from our mother, and you know that. You know that as well as I do. If I were going to have mercy on that man, I would want a promise that he actually cared. So forgive me if two of the people now closest to me have done more for me in recent years than he had. I'm not going to sit here and let him question the people I've been traveling with. He lost that right a long time ago.
And Leuven just sighs. You think he doesn't care? That's funny. That's hilarious. And entitled.
You can sit here and oh, you call me entitled. You can sit here and argue for that man, but when was the last time you wrote me a letter? When was the last time Silrus wrote me a letter? The only one in this family who's written me a letter consistently was our mother. You fell off the face of the earth to me, Leuven. I didn't even get updates on you anymore in our letter because you never changed. You were stagnant. You were just alive. That was all I got. Your brothers are doing well. That was the only line I ever got as an update. I'm sorry traveling makes it hard, but it is also hard to find a place to settle down. Not a lot of people want a cleric who serves death in their territory, so I'm so sorry that you find that a problem.
He just kind of stops. If you don't get involved, monk,
Very
Listen,
He has a name.
I don't care.
I care.
No, it's
Everyone,
fine. I don't know
it
his
would
name
be-
either.
It would be best if we all just took a second to calm down and relax.
And once again,
wait,
you
which
are
one?
interfering with matters you don't understand. Perhaps if my
Sorry.
sister told you everything, you might. Or perhaps if you knew the entire story of all of your
Wait.
companions, you might. But you have
I'm
no
sorry.
place to talk here.
Leuven,
I don't need to understand the entire
they are
story.
family.
No.
You will. Ayla's gonna get up and she's gonna leave, and she's gonna look at Leuven and she's going to strictly say, "They are my family as well as you are. I don't have to be blood related to care about them, but they have a right to speak here in this house. Isn't that the number one rule? Everyone has a right to speak so long as they are under this roof." And she's gonna walk out. I don't know where she's going, but she's gonna walk out.
Leuven just. He.
Huh.
Yeah, he's. He doesn't move. He's still thoroughly ticked. Your mother is appalled.
I can see the family relation. They dealt with that the exact same way.
So Renee's gonna stand up and actually follow. Yeah.
Love Cerulean so much.
Ro just wants friends to be happy, okay?
She's so wholesome for no reason.
Okay. Oh no, what are we doing?
So. Ayla, where would you be going in your home?
Probably to her study because that is the door she has a key for still,
Okay,
and
look
she
here.
can keep her family out if she wants to.
We're reusing maps again. So I promise at some point I will go through all these streams and I will get maps for everything. But nah, I can't. As for Arturus,
Down.
Arturus, Yurio, Kiryu, what are you guys doing?
Is there still food on the table?
Probably yes.
There's
I might eat
food
it.
on the table, but most people have left. Save
Well-
for perhaps Silris and Aylet's mother.
Let's see. How long has this dinner been going on?
You didn't even make it to the 30-minute mark.
Okay, no. Arturus is still hungry. For sure.
Arturus is not going to follow. He's just gonna eat.
Arturus is gonna eat for like another 10 minutes. He's gonna finish whatever on his plates and then he'll go up.
There's like
He's like,
a,
I need the food to deal with this.
there's kind of this somber, disheartened smile almost from Aylet's mother. I'm glad at least someone likes the food.
It's very good.
If only Ayla did not have emotional problems.
She's a lot like her father, you know.
I can tell.
Well, stubborn and caring and stubborn. And not good at showing either. And she just kind of looks at you, Arturus.
Arturus is going to like nod in agreement, like kind of he to a certain point he understands because a lot of the times he's like kind of just along for the ride, so he gets the feeling of like I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. He he
Archers would
kind of
also know Ayla the best.
he can sympathize.
I have to ask you. Just. And I held nothing against your friends, I want you to know that, and neither does my husband. He's long since moved past that. But. Do you know
Muffin Man.
who the Yonti and the Warforged are?
To some degree, but in my here, let's put it like this. In my opinion, I know everything about them that I need to know about them. I understand uh how wonderfully chaotic they can be, and I understand the goodness and the strength that they've showed me through my travels with them. And to be frank, I don't super care about maybe what they've done in the past or who they were in the past. The only thing that I know is that in the present, they are wonderful people and that they are wonderful companions. And I'm content just knowing that.
That's. It's a good answer. It's a good answer. Well, if you ever want to know why my husband distrusts them so much, even despite having come to peace with the past, then I can explain it to you. But
I mean, sure, go ahead.
it. I'm sure you know of the most recent war in history.
I'm not super well read, but I'm not that unread.
Well, your two friends were both part of that war. And they, well, the Yuan Ti came into contact with my husband and my two eldest sons. Now, normally I would hold a grudge, but in truth, it was our people who were in the wrong that night. They attacked a citadel where the Yuan-Ti were just simply trying to defend their borders. And your friend was in charge of protecting that fortress. You can ask him about the details later, but suffice to say, he and my husband ended up fighting. And it was terrifying. That Yuan-Ti holds much more strength than any of us anticipated. And Abram is a good person. I understand that. He's motivated to protect those he cares about, but having seen the savagery and the sheer power of not only your friend, but the Yuan-Ti as a whole, it left a mark. on my family. And
I can understand that to a degree. Whenever people are faced with traumatic things, even if they move past it, there's always going to be pieces left, you know. And that's not really something that's anyone's fault. Like you said the words "we were in the wrong," as if like it was all the soldiers' fault. It was all your husband's fault that the Yuan-ti were being attacked. That's not how I see it, because there's so many other things that went into, or I would assume that there would be a lot of other things that went into attack. It's not like the entire soldier base went and said, "Let's go attack the Yuan-ti. This will be fun." No, there was somewhere along the line, someone high-powered made that decision based off of information from someone else. And so it's not really anybody's fault. It's just a byproduct of war.
That is true.
A byproduct of politics and other such.
That is true. But the foundations for the attack were the same. Our leaders were angry that the Yuan-ti served a different deity. Or at least, that is the entire basis of the Old War. Conflicts of who followed who. And our people were the ones who started the conflict with the Yuan-ti. And I'm honestly surprised that your friend hasn't lashed out. That bitterness often still remains for people from those times. And our queen is a very good example.
I can see that somewhat, because you talk about how like serving a different deity was the basis of this. Like clearly it's not just the basis of the war, it's the basis of life. It's probably part of the reason that you have so much turmoil in your family, is because magically what deity you serve is indicative of everything in your life.
In this kingdom, yes, and at the core of society, yes. But I think our people as a whole, maybe perhaps our queen, they fear the natural cycle of order. That's why they try so hard to stave off the inevitable. And I believe that had something to do with my daughter's banishment. She represents everything they fear. The end to the cycle. Because without death, then life has no point. Nature is a balance, and well, I think perhaps the thought of a cleric of death being born into a line of powerful life clerics, perhaps it scares them. And
People
go.
tend to be resistant to change of any sort, especially when it's something this large. I get the sense, I don't know a lot about like the whole royal situation. I'm not updated on that, but from what I'm hearing, I get the sense that they're afraid of instability, as if as if they don't want things to move to be altered. They like the status quo.
Yes, our queen
And
is very adamant about that. She likes her power.
power is a motivator, but it depends on the person how important that is. Some people can change. Some people like you said, um, our two paladin friends over there. They seem to have moved forward, but not everyone's that way, and that's just part of life. That's part of people's personalities, and it's just something that's very difficult when you have someone in power who's resistant to change and is resistant to accepting things that are different.
You make a lot of good points. You're very wise for
And
your age.
yeah, I'm still
And
technically.
Moon
I don't.
truly
It's
hasn't
weird.
aged.
I'm. What do you mean? I am 123 years old. I am perfectly. Which is weird. I felt 123 for the past 100 years. So
Real.
it's weird. I mean, part of it, I'm sure is because I wasn't really raised by whatever whatever I am. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Um, but I think that um, what we're going to do here, I think trying to right this wrong is probably something that's crucial for maybe the queen doesn't move forward, but maybe it's important for the next generation, the next um, group of people, the prince and all of that, to see that maybe not everyone who serves death is bad, and that there are good people who are different.
Uh, its mother smiles again. I think you're right. I've. This may sound off topic, but. Crap, ow. As a practitioner of divination, I've dabbled in the past and the future. And I think what you'll do here is necessary for all of you. Not just the prince, not just whatever. I think your entire little found family will gain from this. But until such a time as these things come to light, or the benefits come to light, I would ask that you just support Aylet. Honestly, I think that's the only thing you or I can do. She won't listen to her father, she won't listen to me. And even if we try to express that things have changed or that we care, she's so wrapped up in the words of a tyrant that, well, you've seen what it does.
Mm-hmm. Clearly they are powerful words, but I think that as people change, they grow. So I don't know. I would have hope. Well, I'm not going to tell you to have hope, but I personally would have hope that maybe she won't always feel the way she does about the Queen's words, and that maybe she won't always be as distant as she is now.
One can pray, but, well. And she pauses for a minute before taking something from a pouch and sliding it across the table to you. And it seems to be a maybe palm-sized piece of stone with a rune engraved on it. That's the key to the temple beneath the tree. If the queen won't let you in herself, then use this.
Okay. Thank you.
She kind of smiles, and there's like a little bit of a devious light in her eyes. And we kind of get to a little bit of the fact that, yeah, Alet's mother might just be the village crazy lady.
Also, for imagery, just know whenever he's not talking, Arturus is just like wolfing down his food.
Makes sense.
He's cleared half the table by now.
Oh yeah, yeah, I imagine so. But we're gonna cut away from that conversation.
All the deep conversations.
Kiryu and Yurio, what are you guys doing at the moment?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What?
There was just a very long conversation between Arturus and Alet's mother.
There's been deep daily conversation.
Okay.
Arturus can have
Sorry,
thing.
I'm like
Arturus can get deep. It's
about
been
to fall
confirmed.
asleep.
No, you're
Wait,
good.
what?
But basically, we're doing a meanwhile, and Alet stormed off. Essentially, Alet stormed off. Cerulean followed. Arturus is still eating / speaking with Alet's mother. What are Uriel and Kiryu doing? Are you guys trailing after Alet? Or are you going on your own path?
I've been at the table eating the entire time.
So Uriel's just been sitting eating quietly.
Gonna trail after.
Observing.
We
Observing.
can now see the world around her. She must observe.
Yes.
Alright. So Kiryu's also trailing after Alet. So we're gonna cut to that group. Alet, I assume you've stormed off, slammed your door,
yeah.
and locked it?
No. She won't slam doors. There's a rule in this household. They're not allowed to slam doors. So she's very angrily, very quietly shut the door.
And I assume you're locking it to keep your friends out?
She's not gonna lock it quite yet. She's going to, forget she has said key, because she hasn't had to use it in over a century. Instead, she's, very angrily picked up a book and started reading.
Kiryu...
She's doing the thing where she's you start to slam the door, but then you catch it last second so it doesn't make a loud noise.
Pretty much.
Alright. Kiryu and Cerulean, you guys find yourself outside Alet's door.
Cerulean is gonna be nice and not do what they did to the hermit, and she is going to knock. Alet, are you alright in there?
Ah, yes. I am just Kichi. The door is not locked. You're allowed in.
She would slowly open the door and enter.
Alet is sat, in a very weird position. I'm going to describe how I'm currently sitting in my desk chair. I have my, feet on the edge of it, my knees to my chest. That's how she's sat right now, very angrily with a book open in front of her. She kind of looks like a pouty little kid. 100% honest.
Alright.
Can I help you, Cerulean?
I just wanted to check in on you and make sure everything is alright.
Oh, yes, I'm wonderful. I've pissed off my brothers. I've wreaked havoc in a household known for nothing but peace. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm supposed to be here anymore. But yes, I'm fine.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. This feels like a mistake coming home. I'm not even supposed to. By some stupid word of some woman with too much power and gone a little crazy in her head, I don't have a place to call home. I'm not supposed to ever have a place to call home, and that is what she intended, and I guess she's completed her mission. I mean, you saw how pissed off Leuven got. God, I can't imagine how Silvers feels.
I mean, wouldn't you say that the party is home?
Family, yes, but I don't even know what home is supposed to be. I mean, I grew up with strangers living in my house with me. It was not a fun childhood. I didn't really get my parents. I had patients to worry about, and bandages to wrap, and medicines to make, and studies to complete. I followed orders to a T, down to the letter. I wasn't lying when I said that was how we were raised.
So Lillian would actually chuckle to herself a bit. And was like, I think you don't realize just how similar we actually are in that sense.
Oh, it's so much fun having families with power. Seems like everyone
To
needs
say
some.
that again.
I don't know. I love my mother, don't get me wrong. She's a very sweet woman, and I understand the concern, and I know my dad is worried about me, but he doesn't write to me anymore. None of my brothers write to me. It's and then the day where everything went wrong, eh, he didn't defend me. I was alone.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what would you expect him to do?
That man has so much power at the tips of his fingers, and he did nothing. He could have convinced that woman that the blue dress, all of the blue dresses in her wardrobe are not her color, and she would have them all burned at the stake, mind you, not just burned, but burned at the stake, crucified, gone.
Great power doesn't come with the courage to use it.
I would die for those I call family. I would put myself between, before I even met him, between death and harm, and I would be in the way, so they had a better chance at living. I would have done it for him. I would have done it for my brothers, for my mother, and I would expect the same thing in return. But instead, I was abandoned, alone, and in pain.
You see, Ayla, you. Well, the best way to say this is you're extraordinary. You have courage that others don't. You're not afraid to speak when you know it's right. That is a luxury that not many have.
I did almost die that day. I should have died that day. I got very lucky.
And why would you use the life that was saved to hate rather than to love? You cannot change your deity, but you can change the way you view life.
I've met life, actually. Life is a prick.
I don't mean the deity. I mean the world we live in every day. And you should say this with with a smirk, knowing that Ayla is just being a smartass.
Aelid is always a smartass. I don't know what you expected. I have found beauty in a world that is horrible. Don't get me wrong. I am very blessed to be alive, but I would love to know that my family cared a little bit more than just blaming me for not writing. I mean, in the past, I don't even know how long we've been traveling together. When would I have a time to sit down and send out a letter and let them know where I'm going next so they could write back to me? None of them ever leave. My family has been in the same house since the very beginning of our family name. And I mean the very beginning of our family name. The first ever lunar veil to exist on this planet.
Well, I mean, when you look at traditional methods, yes, there may be no good way to send a message, but you have quite the magic between yourself and the rest of the party. Say the word, and I can send my wind spirits to send messages for you. You're not alone. And I feel like you kind of forget that sometimes.
Okay, maybe I do forget that from time to time. It's not like I haven't tried to. I try to keep in contact as best I can. I swear to you, I have. There are hundreds of letters hidden away in my mother's desk. I can promise you that much right now. Mercy on that man. I don't get my brother. I don't get him. And I don't get my father. I'm not going to lie. I don't understand him either. I wish when I came home, instead of my mother greeting me and my brothers excited to know I'm alive, I wish that man would have put down what he was doing to come say hello at least. He knew I was here. He was the first person to get a hold of me the minute we stepped into the elven territory. But I come home, and he's nowhere to be found until dinner, and he's sat at the edge of the table, away from us all, silent. And then he dares to question the people who have kept me alive this long? No. I understand he's a father and he's concerned for my safety, but he cannot sit there and question Abram and Barrage like that. It's not fair to them.
Cerulean would walk over and just sit on the ground in front of Ayla. He isn't really sure kind of what to say in this point, but she just really wants to make sure that that Ayla know that she isn't alone in this.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't get so upset.
No, it's all right. I do understand what you're saying, and I do understand why you're mad.
They're not even here to defend themselves. They weren't there to reassure him. He sat there and when he talked about them, the look in his eyes, I it's not fair to them. I'm not going to let him question my family, and I'm not going to let my older brother say you don't have a right to speak on these issues. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them, and it's not fair to the rest of the party.
Quick, did Kiryu enter the room, or is he just chilling outside?
Just
What is Bro
watching
doing?
all this unfold.
Okay.
He stood with me outside the door.
I imagine he's probably leaning against the door frame.
Slackjaw, like, what is happening?
I can just picture him sitting out there like, open the door.
Maybe can I talk with the big kids?
Sorry, I should laugh.
Big kids, I'm the oldest character.
Can I talk with the big kids? Is the oldest character.
Maji, your character is not the oldest.
Like, isn't like
One of the
Abram
oldest, I should say.
Abram is the oldest. I think he's approximately
I'm one of the oldest.
Yeah, he's above. Abram's above 250. I know that much. I'll have to go back and
Yeah,
find
but
where
still.
I said his actual age, but
We're both old.
yeah, old. And Abram's young for his species as well.
That's scary. That man's gonna live indefinitely. He's gonna outlive us all.
Oop,
So
go.
all that I'm asking is that you give your family one last try.
Fine, 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 fine. Ayla's gonna like take in a deep breath and just kind of look at her fingers before putting her gloves back on and getting up. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can be a calm person. Oh, okay. Okay. Fine, yes, yes, one more chance.
Alright. Which family member are you looking for specifically?
I feel like she should go. She is going to absolutely avoid her father until absolutely necessary. She's not ready for that conversation, part 2. So she's probably gonna go looking for the oldest brother because she feels bad because she knows he was gonna cry at the dinner table. She's like 100% aware he probably went off to cry somewhere, so now she has to go find him.
Alright. Kiryu, I want you to make a perception check really quickly.
Uh-oh.
Alright. Sorry, I'm like... Okay, now I have to bring up my character sheet. Not very prepared.
Oh my god. Oh.
Everyone's
this.
getting, like, kind of sick.
Shut up. No, I'm not.
Everyone, not just you.
It's cold and flu season, and we're all back to our petri dishes.
Yep.
Ugh, my chest hurts.
Our melting pots of scum.
Yeah, and then like
Alright,
everyone
let's see
at my
if
job
she
was
did.
sick today, so TBH, y'all avoid my job for like a hot minute.
14 plus 1, that's 15. Did I make it?
You look outside a window just by happenstance. And turns out it overlooks the small arena in the backyard. And you just see an old man, or not old, but just a single form. Just standing, leaning on a staff, staring up at the night sky without a word. I'm gonna say you also notice, looking out another window, for a moment you are convinced that you can see the shape of something standing atop one of the large trees. Just a bit, like almost as if it's a shadow in the corner of your vision. It's just staring.
I don't know what it is, but I just know that it's the shadow of something.
Yeah, and it looks humanoid. Maybe, and by your tell, elvish stature. Just standing. you aren't able to make out any defining features. But for a moment there, this being seems almost as if it's a remnant out of time for a moment. As if you might be seeing something from an age-long past. Before it disappears again. You blink, and it's gone.
I don't know how to react to that, really.
We're gonna cut back to, I guess Alet.
Go in on a trip.
I want you to make a insight check.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my dice, because I don't trust Quest Portal for this emotional session.
You have advantage on this since it's one of your family members.
Oh, sweet. Advantage? Hold on, let me grab my second d20. Okay, 2d20. Yeah. I need to get a new dice bag, y'all. My dice bag is so full, it's not even funny. So I rolled a 16, and that is plus insight. 9, so 25. I have high wisdom.
Cool. You would know your brother well enough to know exactly where he's going. So I guess I'm leaving it up to you to decide where he might be. I don't.
Ayla
I was gonna
and
say
him-
on the roof, but
Ayla and him, when they were really little, they have an attic space, not a roof. They have an attic space. Set up a little tent, and it's never been taken down. So that tent is like 800, like 100, not 800, but 100 and some years old. It's been up there for a very long time. When they were little, they set it up, and she knows exactly when he's sad. That's where he goes, because he believes no one can find the spot anymore. And she knows since she hasn't been home in years, nobody could find the spot, literally. So she's 100% positive that's where he is.
you track your way down, throw open the attic. It's dark, save for like one small mage light.
She's gonna sit on the floor of the attic by the door, and she's like gonna put her chin in her hands, and in a very cocky tone, and like a joke cockiness, so he doesn't actually get mad at her. She's gonna go, "You never were good at hide and seek."
Yeah, I never really was I?
Always the easiest to find, and the worst at seeking.
I'm a simple man. You can't blame me.
Okay, hiding on the counter, not in the cupboards, but on the counter, does not count as hiding. You know this.
We were kids.
That's what made the game so fun.
Yeah, I guess so. And you'd notice that instead of in the tent, he's just kind of sitting against the back wall.
Ayla does not know how to have emotional conversations. Part too many to count anymore. I am sorry, you know.
I know.
Has anyone ever found you up here?
No. Leuven
Not
doesn't
even
care.
Say, Leuven cares. He's just lazy.
I don't even think she... wow, my voice. I don't even think she knows it exists.
And Hyric. He's a mini version of you, you know.
I have to keep some secrets.
Just some. No, I shouldn't have said the things I said at the table.
We all messed up.
Except for Mom, but she never said a word. Well, no, that's a lie. She said a lot. She said a lot. She made a lot of food, also. I'm hoping Arturus didn't eat it all. That man has a bottomless pit for a stomach, and I don't know how we managed to afford to feed him this long.
Someone's gotta eat all of it. Dad
Yeah,
doesn't
but
eat.
But
so-
Mom's leftover. Dad doesn't eat. Hold on, backtrack. Dad isn't eating?
Just enough to keep himself alive.
Oh. Yeah, he's kind of scrawny now, isn't he?
Mother practically has to force food down his throat anymore.
Oh, I should talk to him.
Well, knowing the two of you, it'll probably just end in another fight.
I don't always argue. Thank you very much. It's not my fault we butt heads so often.
He's just kind of watching at this point.
Okay, fine. Maybe I argue a lot. I'm sorry. I don't know how to talk to that man. He didn't give us a
What are
lot
you
of
guys doing
opportunities growing up.
Here.
Talking about boys.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Please hold on. Okay, sorry. Hold on.
Alright, say that again, sorry.
She's gonna make the comment that their dad never gave them a lot of opportunities growing up.
Silrus thinks for a minute. Yeah. But... We don't give him as much credit as we should. He works because it's the only thing he knows how to do. Well, ow. That's all he's done since you left. You may not remember, but he used to smile. He used to care, or he used to...
He was more expressive. I noticed. I promise you, I noticed a lot of changes. I've seen the changes in all your demeanor. I haven't missed it. I mean, you actually got engaged. No one thought that was gonna happen. Ask Mother. We used to have a betting pool. Luthen owes me money.
Yeah,
But he owes me a coin for that one.
he owes you a lot.
He does owe me a lot. He also owes me a goddamn apology, but that's another conversation.
He kind of pauses for a minute, like wondering if he should really say what he's gonna say.
You know, my deities taught me it's better to spit it out than to hold it in.
We tried. Way back then. When things went wrong Reuven and I, when we heard what happened, there was nothing that would have given us greater pleasure than to just... And it's like, his fist clenches for a minute before kind of falling open.
You know that would have led to my execution, right?
We know, but we didn't want to just stand by and watch that. And Father tried his hardest. He did. He was ready to go to war over it. And
Right.
but with Hyrek not even born yet, and Father's hands were tied, or all of our hands were tied. If we had done anything, you would have gotten killed, other people would have gotten hurt. He kind of just trails off.
There was no winning that situation, and there never will be winning that situation. We all know this.
Father really...
Rationally, I understand. But my heart has not grown from that day. I cannot lie. I might have aged, and I might know more, and I might have traveled and learned and grown, but in my heart, I still feel alone. And I need to take time to figure that out. I can't lie. It's hard to come back to dinner and see him sat at the head of the table without him saying a word, and the first thing he does is question the new family I found when I couldn't come home to the ones I have blood connections to.
If they had been there, the conversation would have been different.
It's not fair to question them when they're not there to defend themselves.
He didn't want to. He wanted to apologize for everything that happened. And yes, he wanted to talk to you about the fact that we were almost killed by Abram. With all three of us. And no, it wasn't fair to talk about it like that. But he doesn't hold a grudge anymore. And
Nobody owes them an apology.
But we do. We did things,
You've done things you can't take back. You worry about my safety because despite what Degree says, I am still a part of this family. Blah, 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 blah. I know. Trust me, I know. My deity does not let me forget it. I know. Have you ever seen three heads yelling at you about the same thing? I don't recommend it. Also, your deity is a prick. I'm sorry, I've been holding that in this entire time. Your deity is a prick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just fine with that?
It's not like I can change deities.
I mean, technically you can. It's not recommended.
Where would I even go?
Death is always looking for more clerics. He's only got like 6 of us.
Respectfully, having one of us serve death already caused.
That was not my fault.
I know
I
it wasn't your
know
fault.
what was going to happen. The queen is also a prick.
Listen, I know, but I don't.
Can Aelett roll insight to see if the queen is spying on her while she's here?
Go ahead.
Just because I'm intrigued. This dice. That is 17. Did not roll
It's
very well.
not. You don't sense any of the queen's magic at play.
Aylett's a little pouty because she wanted the queen to hear her call her a prick. But fine.
But there is something else.
Oh?
And
It's gonna.
it's there for a moment, and then it's gone.
Has someone been watching The House recently?
Not
Or,
anyone. No.
Are you sure?
Something tripped the wards tonight, but not any other night.
That's not very reassuring.
Well, to be fair, it's not hostile.
That's. And we don't think the queen. And we didn't think the queen was hostile either, but things can change.
It hasn't come into the house.
Good. I don't think it's a very good idea to let it roam around. That could just be me. But, if you are saying it's safe enough, I guess I can't argue with the person who still lives here. Because if it haunts the house, it's not my problem. She is painfully aware that Silris does not do well with ghosts. She finds it funny.
He's just gonna shrug in the end.
Oh my god, did you get over your fear of ghosts?
Not really. But it's
Oh.
not a ghost. So.
Then I guess I shouldn't tell you this attic is haunted and there are like 3 ghosts sitting with us. A fun trick I picked up while we're serving under death. Aelett is entirely lying to him.
He just looks like, you realize I can tell when you're lying, right?
Ugh, I hate that you've grown up. You used to fall for that every time.
Well, good to know. At least part of you is still in there.
You also called for an exorcist one day, remember that? I think I had convinced you there was a spirit whose head was stuck in your bed. You called for an exorcist, it was funny.
Not my proudest moment.
And then the exorcist actually dumped holy water on your bed?
Not my finest moment.
Someone's a little bit of a wuss.
Yeah.
You're the oldest, you're supposed to protect us, but you can't protect us if you wet your pants at the idea of a ghost.
I'm
You
still
still run past
technically
the
a war
graveyard?
veteran, you know.
You can be a war veteran and still be a wuss.
Sometimes I wonder if you come back specifically just to tease me.
I didn't come back to tease you, but because you couldn't keep the fact that I was coming back a secret, it's your punishment.
That's fair.
I should go find our other brother, and then our father.
You realize he's probably not going to talk to you, right?
He's gonna talk to me whether he wants to or not. Leuven doesn't get a choice in this.
He's doing the thing again.
He always does the thing. He pouts like he's 3 years old, and he was also a war veteran. So, I'm gonna go find him next. And if
Alright.
you continue to pout up here, I'm throwing a pillow at you.
Back to... Alright,
Arcturus.
you're going. Arcturus. Yuria, what are you guys doing now? Dinner has ended.
Arturus
And
has eaten literally everything on the table.
yep.
All gone.
There's nothing to eat anymore.
Or I guess we could throw in Maji as well. Arturus, Maji, Uriel, what are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, Maji was just awkwardly standing outside the door, wasn't he?
I mean, I guess did everyone else follow Aelith as she's making her rounds?
Well, didn't...
After,
Actually, that's a good question. Who did?
after
Who did?
Aelith went and found her brother, Cerulean's just kind of wandering now. She's exploring.
Alright. Perception check. Arturus, are you wandering around as well, or are you...
You know,
Solid
okay, so
14.
dinner's
Oh,
ended.
that's all 10, I mean.
Yep.
So I guess he's probably satisfied. He's full.
Alright.
I guess he is just wandering around. Probably he doesn't really have much else to do.
Point of note, if you guys do want to go this direction. Aelith's father is still outside. Kiryu saw something outside as well.
Sure, I'll go outside.
And, yeah, other than that, Aelith's
wait,
mother is kind of cleaned up.
Actually,
And
did we get healed out of?
yeah, you guys are perfectly fine now.
Okay. That infraction never happened.
Well, you guys still beat the snot out of each other, but you guys got healed. So
Yeah.
Yurio, Cerulean... Okay. Arturus is going outside. Yurio, Cerulean... What are you guys?
Sleep.
Yurio's going to sleep?
Yes, because I also have to go.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
So yeah, Yurio's wandered up and gone to sleep. She was shown to one of the guest bedrooms. Cerulean
Is it
and...
a mansion? What are we in?
It's pretty much a mansion, honestly.
Okay.
So,
Cerulean's just wandering the halls.
alright. Did you roll that perception check?
I got an amazing 10.
You see and hear nothing in particular. Everything is still the same. Are you looking for anything specific?
Nope, we just walking.
Alright.
She saw a hallway and went with it.
You're walking, and this entire place is pretty much set up to be like a house on top of because like the base floor is kind of just like a medical center, for lack of a better term. And the upper floors are kind of where this family lives, save for like the kitchen. So you can just wander your way around. There's guest bedrooms, plenty of them, might I add. And not much else.
I think eventually Cerulean would just find a guest bedroom that looks empty, and then she'd take a nap. Because she figures Aelet's making up with her family. She doesn't need to do anything herself right now.
Alright.
But she's not committing to a full sleep. She's just decided a nap is all she needs.
Alright. I do have something for that, actually, and we'll get to that in a minute.
I think Maji just also left.
Maji said he's gonna be back, he's just switching devices.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we work our way back to Arturus. You were headed outside? Arturus, you were headed outside?
Avo!
He's muted.
No.
Okay, I guess we'll get back to him.
Hey, hey.
He
Yeah,
lives.
Sorry, I have to go
Oh my
fill
God.
up my car and put fuel injector cleaner into it.
Oh, yikes.
But it's fine. I can talk.
All right.
Someone will just have to roll for me
Okay.
if I need to make rolls.
You walk outside. You can make a perception check if you like. But
Supreme?
not
Yeah.
not required.
Ooh. Let's go.
All right, Maji has to go. We will continue with the 3 people because I'm not done with my lore.
Yay, lore!
I'm not done yet tonight. You're stuck with me. Normally I don't
Yay,
play with
lore!
3 out of 8, but I
don't think we're getting into combat, so it shouldn't be too serious. TBH.
yeah, I don't really think we're gonna go anywhere outside the home tonight. I'm gonna be honest.
No, Aylet's gonna commit to the full 2 nights because she feels bad.
All right. Cool. Anyway, Arturus, do you want to make a perception check or no?
Yeah, sure. What?
Okay.
Okay.
16 plus whatever your perception bonus is. I don't really know your bonus.
I believe it is plus. Well, let's see. Yeah, plus 9.
Hot dang.
Cause, yeah.
Yeah, you would notice, for a brief moment, there seems to be a shadowy figure standing atop one of the trees. And you
Am I
look,
with anyone?
and you blink, and it's gone. Where were you headed when you were going outside? Were you headed anywhere specific?
I was headed. I don't know, just in the general direction that her father headed. Like, I'm not really looking for him.
So,
just
he's
headed
not-
that direction.
He's not too far off. He's standing in the center of the small battle arena. Or battle pit. Whatever you call it. Sparring pit. Which isn't too far off. But... yeah, you notice that thing standing atop the tree for a moment. And then it's gone. You'd also notice it is indeed a full moon tonight.
Ooh, werewolves. No, I'm kidding. But I guess he's going to have to just like brush it off because he's like, surely my eyes are playing tricks on me. But also like he's gonna
Yeah,
make a
you
mental
know that.
note of
I'm
it.
just gonna say with that high of a number, yeah, that's no optical illusion.
Basically, I know it's real.
Yeah.
So like, there's for sure something. There's for sure something watching.
Yeah, but the instant you see him, your eyes pin it down. You blink, it's gone again. So.
Huh. Very interesting.
All right.
Let's see. I guess I'm going to go see what Aylet's father is up to.
All right. You trek out, and he seems to be standing in the center of the sparring pit. He's not moving, just leaning on his staff and staring up at the night sky.
Let's see. Has he noticed me?
Insight.
Sure.
I can roll if you need me to.
Yeah, roll again. It's the same.
Oh, geez, yeah. Hello. You noticed, one of his ears twitch, like, once. So you can assume he knows you're there. He's aware.
So, that was a fun conversation.
If you see it that
You
way.
had, I mean that ironically, of course, but uh,
You still there? Avo, you're cutting out. Oh. You like,
words now.
you're hardcore roboting, dude.
Am I?
You're hardcore roboting.
No, we don't.
Nope, now he's far away.
Now I'm far away.
I can hear you,
Oh, that's
but...
wonderful. Speaker. No, Bluetooth. Don't do this to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to D&D Tech Support, episode... What are we on? Like...
Episode too many.
8. I think we're on 8. Lord have mercy, dude.
Okay.
Oh, he lives.
I'm alive again.
Alright. You were saying.
We're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Yep.
I was... You know... You guys are fighting over the strangest things. It's weird. I get the feeling that all of you care more than you let on, and it's strange to watch.
Strange to watch as what was a stable family for generations fall apart.
Yeah. Strange. It's weird that you're falling apart over words, over things that aren't really in any of your control. But in the end, I can see that all of you still care about each other. That's not the issue here.
It is much more than just words, young monk. It was, well, it is law now that, well, according to law, my daughter is banished from this kingdom and no longer recognized as part of our family. And that's only a fraction of what happened.
See, I don't mean to be anti-law here. That's not the stance I'm going to go. Laws are important, but in the end, laws are just words. It's like, here, how can I phrase this better? Because that doesn't quite sum up what I'm trying to say here.
You mean
like
that...
laws are important, but not all laws are just.
No.
Is what I'm saying.
No, they're not. But unfortunately, when the person making those laws has the power and will to see that they are enforced and to see that suffering comes to those who disobey them, that is when it becomes so much more than words.
Like that shadow.
So you noticed it.
I am unaware in some areas of my life. That is not one of them.
It does not serve the queen. This I know.
Oh my god.
I have been aware of it for generations.
Do you know what it is?
I have a guess, but it is nothing more than a guess.
What's that?
Consider it whatever it is. I believe it is tied to our family somehow. A remnant, so to speak, from perhaps ages ago. I wouldn't venture to call it a guardian angel, but it appears every full moon or so. It watches. It waits. But, it never speaks.
Interesting. Wow. Back. That's very interesting. I wonder. It's. I wonder what it would be. I'm sure it's not exactly common for people to have random remnants following them around.
I assume it could be many things. Though, I would prefer not to think about it. So long as it does not do harm to my family, I truly don't care. But you were saying something about words, and
I was saying that basically law is fickle. And it likes to be concrete, but in doing that it becomes vague. Can you define for me exactly what the legal definition of a family is?
what kind of family? It can be those related to you. That is the legal definition, is those related by blood. That is what makes you a family, so to speak.
But is that what really makes you a family? Is what I'm trying to get at here. Because legally, Alet might not be related to you.
Just because someone does not want to admit that we share the same blood, does not mean that it is not a fact.
Exactly.
I understand what you're trying to say. That it seems pointless that our family would be falling apart over Alright. Zeph's leaving, but we're gonna finish out the session.
Jay is determined, y'all.
I'm bound and determined. I'm sorry. Normally I wouldn't do this, but we're in too deep now.
We're in too deep to the family emotional issues.
Yep. And Ayla's father looks to you, Arteris. It's a tragedy, I understand, but I guess one could call it the price for my own sins. I was never the father they needed. I was never the friend anyone else needed. And let's be honest, I'm not the greatest husband either.
Oh no. Can we take a quick break?
Nope.
This gas is not being the nicest to me, and yeah, okay.
Jay, did you just say no?
I'm sorry.
Okay, if you need to pause for a minute.
I'm just
Homie's just trying to get gas.
I'm trying to.
one more time. This will be fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, cards in, it's processing. This is fine. It's authorizing. This is fine. Everything's going great. Nice. Okay, so it's paid for. Do I want a receipt? I don't want a receipt. No, thank you. This is so much easier when I'm not trying to have like a
in-depth
freaking
discussion.
philosophical conversation at the same time.
Oh man.
And then okay. Fueling. It's fueling. Oh, look at that. Okay. Very nice. You can continue now.
And he kind of continues. I wasn't not the best husband, and I've ruined lives. All
I
in
mean-
all, perhaps this is just my price to pay.
You know, I think that everybody makes mistakes. Well, sorry. That's a lie. I know that everybody makes mistakes. But I think it's more important that you know who you are now than blaming yourself for things that happened in the past. Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I understand that this situation with Ayla was hard on you, and that your life probably hasn't been easy, and that you've done things that you've regret. Heck, I'm like a whole 5 years old. Not really. I'm much older than that. But and I've done things that I've regretted. So don't be too hard on. I hate to speak from a someone who doesn't have as much experience in life, but you're being too hard on yourself, and you're blaming yourself for things that are so far removed that they shouldn't even be relevant to your situation.
Wise words. Wise words.
Who knows? Maybe it's the stupid frickin' whatever it's called, mystical reincarnation, whatever it is. I'm still confused about that, by the way. You know, it's not an easy thing to understand or to take in, but you know, whatever that is. Past lives.
Well, if it's them speaking, then they are indeed wise, but I think that in the end, he pauses for a minute. I don't think things will ever fully be the same. And I know that I know how that I know how Aelith thinks. I know
Here.
what's going on in her head, and
Shoot.
I
Shoot. Tell me what you think Ayla is thinking right now.
well, she and I are much the same. We're stubborn. We care, but we're bad at showing it. We get angry easily. But honestly, I think that in the end, perhaps logically she's not upset with me, but emotionally she is. I questioned all of you, the people she now calls family. And that's upset her. I could not do anything in the moment where she actually needed me for once. And I think that trauma still lingers. And let's be honest here, I haven't been a good father either. So, truly, I don't think it matters how much I care or the fact that I did what I did. She's upset. And I know that there's likely nothing I can do to fix that. So,
I mean, Arcturus is gonna squint his eyes and is gonna be like, "Are you sure this isn't rehearsed? You just direct quoted your wife."
I've always been told we tend to do that. It's hilarious, honestly. We know each other better than we know ourselves.
I wonder, does someone who is that in tune with his family is claiming to be a terrible father or not the best father, which is honestly true for everybody. No one's perfect, and I'm pretty sure these feelings are. I'm not a father, obviously. Heck, I don't even know. I, yeah, I wouldn't
Arcturus,
even know where to
first of all, I'm
start.
not a father, but
But I would assume, as logically as I possibly could, that the feelings that you're having are normal. That maybe you're trying to live up to something that isn't possible, and that you're setting
Impossible.
your expectations way too high for yourself.
Impossible or not. Arturus, it's... I know you likely don't understand. But... They didn't have a normal childhood. I didn't have a normal childhood. Our family doesn't do things. And I never got.
Do
I
you-
was never.
Do you regret that?
Yes, honestly, I do. But
Then,
my hands are tied.
then maybe your best course of action would be to communicate that to your family rather than letting it be a silent sorrow. That's up for you to decide. I can't make decisions for you. I can't tell you what to do. You're my senior. Even if, actually, are we the same race? I don't know. Maybe. Probably.
We're elves.
I'm gonna say, I'm probably an elf.
We're
Most
elves. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
what color
yes,
the
the point
skin
is-
or.
yeah,
I'm sorry, this is
This is-
canonical that Arturus does not know that he's an elf, even though it's been stated to him he is an elf like
no,
five
he,
times.
he knows he's an elf, but he just doesn't really know what kind. He's like, am I though, or do I just kind of look like an elf? Because like
Oh
he
my
hasn't
God.
really seen anyone who looks like him, because the stinking ship arc at
I appreciate it.
retconned doesn't exist anymore.
Yep. Ugh.
And also, they don't even live in the same freaking material plane. So
Yep. Halo's father smiles for a moment. It's like, elves. High elf,
Elves.
wood elf, sea elf, eldrin, drow,
whatever I am.
whatever you are. We're elves. We live too long for our own good. Now, as much as I'd love to keep talking with you,
You've got stuff.
well, I assume my daughter will be coming around at some point, and you should likely get some rest before my wife beats you with that light-forsaken frying pan of hers.
Oh, I forgot about that. Where did she buy those?
Dwarves.
Dwarves?
Dwarves.
Dwarves.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. And he's gonna slowly, like, back off into the forest.
I would go. She's never missed with it.
Interesting. 100% accuracy.
Yep.
He's still contemplating the use of a frying pan in battle. He's
Alright.
like, how effective would it really be?
Alright.
Anyways, yeah,
This is-
he's like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
go do that.
Go sleep. And this is where we jump back to Ayla. You said you're going to kick down your...
She doesn't care if he's like pouting in his room, mad at her, and refuses to speak to her. She will kick down the door aggressively. Like, she will break it from its hinges if she has to get that man to look at her. And then if he still refuses to talk to her, she is not against physical violence.
You get to the door, and you just hear, "It's open. Don't break it again."
I like that you assume I was going to break it in the first place.
Please. We lived together long enough for me to know your habits.
I was, what, like 24? When I left. I was very young back then. I'd like to state, I left at a very young age.
Still long enough to know
I've
how you
matured.
think.
She's been
I've
breaking doors
matured.
for quite some time.
I've matured. You don't know that I still break doors.
Call it an educated guess.
If I still break doors. Okay, you suck, first of all.
You have made that very clear.
So are you gonna talk to me and like look at me? Or are you gonna face your wall? Are you gonna... What's happening here?
You're free to come in if you want. I'm not going to stop you.
Well, that doesn't sound very inviting. That sounds like if I step in here, you're gonna kick my ass. Throw Mom's frying pan at me. The enchanted one with accuracy.
We both know I wouldn't dare pick up that frying pan.
Because the last time Zolris tried to pick it up, he got beat. Oh, it was funny.
Yes, I'd like to spare my ears.
It's okay. She's gonna, like, sit on his bed.
He's sitting cross-legged, kind of at the head of his bed.
She's gonna sit cross-legged on the foot of his bed and like stare at him.
He is currently looking through one of his notebooks.
She's not even gonna ask. She's gonna take the notebook out of his hands and throw it behind her. She doesn't know where it's going or if it's gonna hit something. She just chucks it behind her.
He reaches into one of his pockets and pulls out another one.
Okay, first of all, that's not fair. She's gonna take the second one and throw it. Second of all, it's very rude to not look at the person you're speaking with. Mother raised you better.
Fine, what do you want?
What? You're so rude. Why?
Well, considering what happened at dinner, I believe I have a right to be thoroughly...
You can be upset, but there's a difference between being upset and being 3 years old.
Well, perhaps you fail to consider that I simply like to avoid people when I'm angry.
You're a war veteran.
Precisely.
You make my head hurt.
Is walking away from a situation that makes you angry not one of the defined
No,
ways to
walking-
deal with a situation?
No, that runs in the family. It's genetics. Dad does it. I do it. You do it. Soris does it. And the only one who doesn't do it is Mom.
This
And
is
Hy-
true.
Hyric? I don't know about Hyric's habits. I know him.
He took after Mother.
He takes after Mother, of course he does. That makes sense. But he's a mini Soris too, which is strange. Nevertheless, off topic. We need to talk. She's gonna kind of grit her teeth. She will apologize to Soris because he cries and she feels bad for him. She does not like apologizing to Leuven. Leuven is kind of an asshole. So she's going to like gritted teeth and she's genuine about this, but very clearly does not appreciate the fact that she has to do it still. Apologize to him, and she's gonna kind of go, "I'm sorry about dinner. I should know when to bite my tongue."
Better to say what you feel rather than bottle it up. We all know how that ends.
Eye twitch. Small, very aggressive eye twitch. Right. Nevertheless, I apologize.
Apology accepted.
Great. Wonderful. Oh. You do owe a couple people an apology, and, I'm giving you... Let's see. Tomorrow... and the morning after tomorrow night to do said apology.
Very well.
You mean it? You're actually going to apologize and you're not just saying okay to get me to leave.
What do you think?
You have a very bad history with apologies.
I'm also considerably annoyed that... well...
I was right.
Well, considering the fact that our family affairs are of our family, and none of theirs, I don't see how it is their place to comment on these things.
I think if they are the only reason I'm allowed to see my blood family right now, and they've been traveling with me, and they've become a family of my own, they have every right to be concerned about me. And they have just as much of a right as the rest of our patients to speak their mind here.
This is true.
So you owe Cerulean and Arturus an apology.
Very well.
And I want you to remember their names. Because I do not take
Fine.
kindly to someone insulting my family, and you know this as well as everyone else does. I pushed one boy into the canal, I'm not afraid to shove you into the canal and keep you there.
I'll do what you ask.
It better be a genuine apology, because if it's not, you're still going in that canal.
I get the feeling you'll throw me in the canal whether it's genuine or not.
We'll see. We'll see how I feel tomorrow.
Hmm.
But the longer you wait, the more likely you're going in.
And that's how we solve our problems, isn't it?
What,
Straight to
threats and violence?
seems to run in the family well enough.
I'm sorry, but you didn't bother to remember their names after they had kindly introduced themselves to you, and then you proceeded to insult them more than once. And then you and Father had the audacity to question the Paladins, the only reason I am allowed to see you right now in such a manner, in a space where they could not defend themselves. I'm a little ticked. Because they are still my family. I don't care what scuffle you had in the past. I don't care how you feel about them. They are still my family.
Right.
I'm not afraid to make sure you remember that.
And that brings us back to the start.
I just need to make sure you understand my point and why it was not appropriate
I
for you to demean them
understand.
in such a way.
I
Mother
understand
raised you
very
better.
well. You do not need to lecture me on
I can't
propriety.
tell. I can't tell some days because despite being the most put together out of all of us, you still lack the most manners. Mother raised you better. You should have a better manner. Living in this household of doctors where we have patients every day, your manners should be impeccable. And the fact that you think it was okay, and you're not only just not wanting to apologize to them, but or the way that you could very easily apologize and have it not be genuine just to get it over with and you'd be fine with that, pisses me off.
Listen. I said what I said. Because believe it or not, I am still righteously ticked with you.
You can be righteously ticked with me, but you will not take that out on someone else. That is a problem between you and me. You know that as well as I do. So when you got in the middle of my problem with me and Dad, I threw you in there, but you noticed how I did not target every single person in this kingdom? You do not bring someone into a problem and you do not demean them because you have a problem with me. You are an adult, a war veteran. You should know better.
I will do as you ask. But, well, I don't think we have anything more to say, honestly. Unless you want to talk about what happened down at the dinner table that was not regarding your friends, then, well,
You owe Silris an apology.
Silris.
You owe Silris an apology. You know why? Silris is an emotional man who does not understand why family fights. He is wholesome and believes with his whole heart that the world is a safe little bubble. I don't care that he's a war veteran. I don't care what we've lived through as a family. You know as well as I do, he believes in that little bubble with his whole heart. And you and I both shattered that bubble tonight, so you owe him an apology. I've already apologized to him, but you owe him an apology for that.
I'm sorry he had to wake up to the world then.
No. No. It is not you're sorry he had to wake up to the world. He was well aware of the world. But you know what he was praying for and what he was hoping for that you and I should have both been aware of? That when I came home, no matter the circumstances, we could have had a nice family dinner. where it was safe and the world was away for 5 minutes and we didn't give him that. You owe him an apology for making a scene, just as I owe Mother and Hyric an apology for making a scene.
You're right. He doesn't deserve any of that.
No, he doesn't. So you owe him an apology.
And I still think you owe Father an apology, but...
I'm making my rounds. I just started with the easier people to talk to. Not my fault.
I suppose.
Oh, I'm about to fight this man. Fight this man.
At least 100 years your senior, may I remind you.
You are 100 years my senior. My rear end. You get to be my senior when you act like it. Now to go apologize to the next one.
Just go.
Alet, in fact, does not know if she should try to prolong apologizing to her father any longer. She feels like she shouldn't put it off, but she really wants to put it off.
It's your choice, not mine.
We're gonna roll a dice! I like to be mean to myself. What would I pick, Jay? I can roll a dice. The dice can pick for me. Yeah!
Lord have mercy, here we go.
We're going to Daddy Dearest because that was the natural one.
Oh, fudge, okay.
We're going to Daddy to Dearest.
Alright. You make your way outside just as Arturus is running back in.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Alet
Alet is a wuss.
Arturus is going to like kind of like as he walks by, like put his hand on her shoulder. He's gonna be like, just remember that in the end, he's still like anything else. He's still family, and he still cares. Don't you know? Don't you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And then he's gonna walk inside.
Alet, you see...
Oh, also good luck.
Thank you, Arturus. I appreciate that.
Alet, you see, standing out in the sand pit, your father, staring up at the clouds and leaning on his staff.
I would like to state that Alet currently feels like she is 10 years old. And she is very afraid. So we're gonna throw her headfirst into this. She's going... She's gonna walk up to her dad, and she's gonna rock on her heels a little bit while she tries to figure out what to say. And she's a little grumbly. What? Ava, are you whispering?
What? No,
Okay, there's a weird sound out of your mic.
really.
Yeah, I
I don't think I was whispering. Maybe I was.
Woo, dang.
um,
Lord have mercy, dude.
Ayla's not gonna look at her father as she mumbles out some form of apology. It's hard to understand her. She doesn't know what to say.
You don't have anything to apologize for.
I made a scene at dinner. I was rude. I should know better.
So should I.
You're the head of the household. You can do no wrong.
And we both know that's a lie.
You're right. The head of the household is Mom. She holds all the power. Ayla being 100% genuine.
I would hate... Yes, but we also know that the statement of do no wrong, is also a lie.
Are you saying Mom can do wrong? That's a very bold statement to make about your wife, sir.
I'm saying both of us can do no wrong.
Oh.
We're saying both of us are capable of fault.
Oh. You're saying your wife is capable of fault? That's a very bold statement to make about your wife, sir.
I am capable of being wrong. Your mother is, while it happens very, very rarely, also capable of being wrong.
That's a very bold statement. I thought the wife was always right. That's what you said last time I was here.
In most cases, yes. If a man
said
wants to
always.
keep his life, then...
Always. I'm gonna tell Mom that you said she could be wrong. I'm a tattle. I'm gonna watch you get the frying pan thrown at you.
Was bound to happen eventually.
Eventually. Wait, it hasn't happened all the time I've been gone. That's not fair.
It has happened.
And I've missed it? That's also not fair.
I suppose.
What are you doing out here? You're old, decrepit, scrawny. You'll catch a
Well,
cold.
I'm not dead yet. And no, I'm not that old.
I don't know. According to Leuven, he's 100 years my senior, and you're like 500 years older than me. You're old, decrepit,
Not
scrawny. You're gonna catch a cold.
Still lively enough to kick you and your brother's tails around the arena if I so choose.
I don't think that's true anymore, old man. I think I could very well beat you in combat.
You're probably right.
You're old, scrawny, decrepit. You're gonna catch a cold.
And when has that ever stopped me?
I think if I told Mother her frail old husband was outside at night while it was cold, she would not be very happy. I can't take this seriously because of Abel laughing in the background.
Hey, you're the one repeating decrepit and old.
Because he is!
He's not old, he's just aged a little.
I still have to call him old.
It's
your
just
job,
like
the
going up
smart-ass
to your
child.
parents or just some random middle-aged man and just be like, "Hey, you're old and decrepit."
Oh my god.
You know, you should be really careful there. Like, you could drop down and die at any second.
Okay, back in character.
Statistically, It might
Okay.
have already happened.
Okay, come on. Let's keep
dying.
this show rolling.
Okay, I gotta retry that last phrase because I was laughing through it. I believe if I told Mother her frail, old, decrepit husband
Middle
was
aged.
out here at old husband was out here at night while it was cold with no jacket or cloak on, she'd be very upset. Why are you out here anyways? You've stewed longer than normal.
I have a lot to think about.
You want to tell me what broke the wards tonight?
nothing that hasn't broken them before.
Though that doesn't help me at all. Dies again.
It's appeared every night on the full moon, or every night of the full moon, for the last 50 years.
50 years after I left. What is it?
I
Can't
don't,
just call it an it.
I don't know.
Well, that's not helpful at all. Is it hostile?
No.
Is it powerful?
Yes.
See, my player brain is thinking of something, but I don't think Aelit would know this person.
You can always roll something or ask to roll or
I
whatever.
want to know if it's like, because I know Aelit's met like Grimm and Xenovis, right? I'm just wondering if she would meet the elf one, or if she would have met the elf one in her time.
You guys did meet the elf one.
Oh, we did. Can I roll and see if it's him?
You can.
What am I rolling for that? History?
Wait a
Insight?
second.
Arcana. Or
Arcana.
Arcana or religion.
Yay, religion! I rolled a 19, so I'm feeling pretty good.
It's not the elf.
Damn it.
It's
Okay.
something else entirely.
Well, it's not him, so that's not helpful.
I was gonna say, you would think that the role I had would be able to recognize, but
Well, I would like to know still. I like to cover my bases. Okay. So Aelit's kind of annoyed that nobody actually knows what it is, and she doesn't feel safe. Now that she's clearly understood that nobody knows what it is. Aelit's gonna, like, think, and then she's gonna say, Alright, old man, I think you've been out here long enough. Because if I let you stay out here any longer, your wife is coming with the frying pan. And if I go inside without you, she is most certainly coming with the frying pan.
and his old decrepit body could handle it.
Oh my god, Avo.
You're probably right.
Not probably, I am. Why can't anyone in this family admit when I'm right? At least not to my face. Lupin didn't want to admit I was right. Silris doesn't want to admit I was right. You don't want to admit I was right. I am right, not was. I am right. I bet if I beat you back into the house, I could still get her to throw the frying pan.
I have no doubt. Though,
I guess it's mean, though. I shouldn't do that.
Quick,
I
just
was
have him cast teleport.
and here
He's not
I,
taking any chances.
and here I was, assuming you wanted to talk about dinner.
I do want to talk about dinner. You know that. I'm just bad at emotional conversations.
Well, that makes two of us.
I mean, Death gave me homework to have an emotional conversation with my new family, and I prolonged it as long as possible. And he wasn't happy with me.
Well, we both know that running away isn't going to solve anything.
No, it never does, but, you know, sometimes when you have to run away, you gotta run away.
True. If you don't want to talk about it, then we don't have to.
I told my deity I would try to be better about emotional conversations that scare me. One of the heads doesn't believe me, and I don't like that head, so I kind of want to prove it wrong.
I'm not surprised, honestly.
What, that one of the heads doesn't like me, or that I'm spiteful? Or that, like, trying to make me be a better person?
All of the above.
Oh, well, that's no fun. I thought you were gonna, like, only say one of those. That's okay. Never mind then. I should apologize for some of the things I said at the table. they weren't necessary. They were me being upset and angry over something that happened over 100 years ago. That by now I should be over. And I'm just being dramatic.
Don't downplay what you feel. Things of that nature don't just heal.
They should. It's stupid if they don't.
The greatest healers in the kingdom, and the one thing we could never fix was the spirit. Fix
That's
the
because
body all you
spirit is
want.
its own magic. The spirit is its own form of magic. It's not
The
physical
spirit, the
human
soul, the
body.
emotions.
Ayla's gonna like curl her fingers when she like hurt fixing things. I need to fix this stuff. Oops.
We could never heal the non-physical side.
No, that's not how life works, you know? Life's a prick.
Well, that is true.
If you all agree so much.
Listen, I've said things that I shouldn't have. And I wish that I could make up for everything, honestly.
It was a long time ago. It's fine, Gucci.
You know, I'd be inclined to believe you if your voice didn't shake every time you said it.
Like to say you're fine. I'm mentally okay. I have no mental problems at all. I am
dodging
a healthy
again.
person. Stop it. Stop. Old man, you're not allowed to call me out like that anymore.
Laws or not, I'm still your father.
But the laws are very important. They're what make a society. I'm not saying that all of them are correct and that they're perfect, and I don't believe they're stupid.
You
But
know,
laws make a society.
this is what the conversation that made your brother angry.
What, that I follow the law? It's not my fault Leuven's a baby.
It's the fact that you seem to believe so vehemently that simply because some crazy woman said or wrote something, you believe so vehemently that that means that we are not, well, law does not change fact.
I'm not saying I believe the crazy woman. I'm simply stating that we as a family have no power to change said law. And instead of causing more pain and turmoil and grief by having you all banished from the home we've had for generations, I simply choose to follow the rules. If you play the game and you play it while you live. If you step too far out of line, it is an execution. I don't want that for Hyric. It is better that Hyric does not understand. And I can't get that law changed anytime soon.
You're probably right. But just because things do not change now does not mean that they are forever permanent.
No. But I don't know if some of these things can be rectified. I don't know my youngest brother. I've never gotten to know him. And the first day I meet him, he does not feel like a brother. And I hate to say this, but he feels like a replacement. I know that's not what he is, but it is hard not to see it that way. I don't know if I can ever look at him and truly say that is my little brother who I'm so proud of. I'm proud of him, but I don't know him. And I don't know if I'll get the opportunity to know him before I am old and decrepit and ancient like you.
Well, an old man can at least pray, right?
Man, you can pray all you want, but you're praying to the wrong deity. And your deity's rude
True.
and inhabitable and wants to eat me. And she's tried at least twice now. On the horrible occasions I've accidentally encountered her while looking for Az. Or because Grim left me unattended and I wanted to.
You'll have to tell me those stories sometime.
I don't think you want to hear them.
Well, you've piqued my curiosity now.
Oh, but your deity's tried to eat me? I don't think that's a good thing for a father to be curious about.
Listen. I don't care what the Queen says or anything, really. You are still my daughter. And I'll admit...
The old man can be rebellious like a teenager? That's new.
You think I didn't want to rip her limb from limb
I
when I
don't
heard
know.
what she was going to do to you?
You were silent in the trial, you were silent at the hearing, you were silent at the decision, you were silent at the action, and you were silent when I left. You were just silent. So it's very hard to understand what you felt and how you were acting and behaving behind the scenes, because I never saw it. That's not my fault.
My hands... They were tied. They've always been tied. Your mother was pregnant with Hyrick.
I didn't even know that was a thing until after I had left. I would like to state that. I don't appreciate that secret.
We meant to... Bad timing. Really bad timing. Let's just put it that way.
I think you were keeping my replacement secret, and then I left, and then y'all were like, okay, great, we can have the secret. Ha 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 ha!
You know that's not true.
Can't you tell by my tone of voice I'm so absolutely serious? This is my firm founding belief. This is what I've built my entire personality off of in the recent years. Ayelet might not be there very often, but she has to make up for all the years she's missed of being a smartass.
Listen, I wish I could have done something, and I'm sorry that I wasn't. But I wasn't there.
Oh, I'm having such an internal debate if I want Ayelet to take a stab at one of the wounds.
I wish...
You know what you could have done? And this isn't just you, but all of the men of this household could learn how to write a letter.
If that's what it takes to at least get us back on track.
When was the last time you wrote me a letter? It's been a very long time. All of my letters are in Mother's handwriting. It's kind of sad.
Admittedly.
I feel forgotten. I feel abandoned and forgotten in this household, TBH, and I don't appreciate it. And you know as well as I do, Royal Decree never said anything about letters. It just said about me existing in this space. Because our queen is stupid and doesn't know how to cover her bases, but that's another conversation.
I will write. And
Is that a promise?
Cross this aging heart of mine, and hope that death has mercy on my soul.
Oh, he won't. But it'll be funny when you do die. No, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. But that's not the promise I was asking for, old man. We don't promise like that anymore. We pinky promise. Is that a pinky promise?
Why the heck not?
Aelith has to make sure her father knows she believes he is old. She will do anything to get that smart alley train going and keep it going.
Fine, by this old decrepit hands of mine.
Yes!
And he does make the promise. And he looks at you.
Aww.
And like, I know that I can't make up for everything. But
You can get a start at it.
if I could at least try.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere for 2 nights. I'm not allowed to leave the house. I'm grounded.
True. But I'll make sure to write, and I'll make sure your idiot brothers do too.
All of them? All 3 of them?
Yes.
Not just
I-
Silverus and Leuven. Because I swear to God, Hyric owes me I can't say that word. That's a naughty word. A lot of letters.
He does. He does. Oh, and by the way, you ever come across a boy, I have to meet them first.
No. But we'll get back to that conversation later. Do you think your mom could try and do me a favor? I know it's technically breaking the law. But I don't know if there's
please,
anything else
breaking
you
a
can
few.
do.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Yeah. Can't make an omelet without breaking a couple of eggs. God, that is such an phrase. Get a new one. Learn the slang.
Oh,
I thought
and
you said you
here
were
I was
middle-aged.
supposed to be the old decrepit man.
You wanted to believe you were middle-aged. I'm sorry for calling out the fact.
I am technically middle-aged, and I think I've aged
No, you're
very
old.
well, thank you.
You're old. You're getting wrinkles. You have wrinkles here and here and here and here.
Okay,
You're getting
maybe I've been a little overworked and stressed.
Overworked, underfed, underpaid, and not rested enough. Mother looks like she's about to throw food at you every time you enter a room. And I've only seen you enter a room one time since I've been here.
If I promise to take a vacation to the coast, will you get off my back?
No, but sure, we'll pretend like.
Ugh.
You
Anyway, yes, about breaking laws.
It's just flashing.
I know decree says you're not supposed to help me when I'm
What
rested,
the?
but I don't know any other healer that could possibly fix a small problem I have.
The hands.
Yeah, I can't feel anything in my
Twitching.
Like, I can't feel anything.
Grab a video. Why?
I have nothing going on in the fingertips or the nerves or the anything. I can't even tell if they're moving how.
Weird.
It's a problem. And my
It's not
deity can't
thunder,
fix
though.
it yet. He's working on it, but yet he's got nothing.
Your father smiles, and he gently reaches out and kind of takes your hands in his own and chants for a minute.
Should I
Just
take the
let
gloves
him
off
know.
first? Did I leave the gloves on? Okay, I'm leaving the
Oh,
gloves on.
I was gonna say, if the gloves were on, he would just take them off.
Okay, he's taking them off. Okay, great.
And,
Oh.
he chants to the point where, magic begins to glow, and, the, numbness recedes. Quite a bit. I don't know if you want it to recede like a crazy amount. It recedes majorly.
I can feel my fingers again.
He opens his eyes and kind of smirks.
It's been 40 years. How did you do that? Why can't I do that? Oh, I guess I can't do that to myself. That's being hypocritical of my own magic. Whoa.
Still young enough to kick you and your brother's tails around the ring.
I don't think that's true, but maybe we should test that theory tomorrow.
Do I get to include the new brothers I've made? Or does it just the blood ones?
If you're talking about the paladins, don't get me wrong, I've long since moved past
I
my
was
grudge.
including the monk in this. I hope you know. The
Oh,
monk is
and the
also-
monk. And the monk. I feel as if it's a bit unfair. I'm going to be honest.
I'm just saying, if you're so convinced, you're so strong still. After
Listen, I
grown
said
weak
you and
and
your
frail.
brothers. I did not
Frail.
say... I said you and your brothers. I did not say...
you're frail. Admit it, you're frail.
I was
Because
going
when
to
we
say
were
I
young,
did not say a robot warrior and his magic resistant brother.
No, but when we were younger, you used to say you could take on a whole army, including us.
Okay,
I
maybe
think
when
you've
I
just
was
gone
back in my
frail.
prime, but my prime was 100. My
Frail.
prime was 100 years ago.
Decrepit.
Not
Ancient.
decrepit, just a little rusty.
Frail. Decrepit. Admit it. You've grown weak, old man.
He, like, bonks you with the stick.
I'm telling Mom. She's gonna, like, dead sprint to the house before she remembers. She can cast Misty Step for free once a day. So she casts Misty Step to get to the house faster.
Counter
And she's
spell.
booked inside. She casts it again. Booked it inside.
Counter spell number 2.
I hate you.
And he kind of, like, there's a flash of gold light and he appears by the door. Kind of raises an eyebrow.
That's not fair. I can't do that yet.
You were saying that I wasn't
That's not-
spry enough to still kick you around the ring?
That's not fair. I can't do that yet. I haven't figured it out entirely.
You'll get it
Ayla-
eventually.
But Ayla has also come to the realization that he's distracted, so she's just going to very sneakily put her foot through the doorframe before he does and smile, and she's going to say, "I win." Before she runs after Mom and starts screaming, "Mom! Your husband hit me!
He just...
And he's old and outside and it's cold and he has no cloak on."
Aelith Lunarvale, you stop right... and
Oh no,
he kind of, like, pretty much chases after you into the house.